Hey, family and friends. It's Wednesday, the 25th of May, and Jessica and I are just finishing up our second to last day. We started the morning a bit on the rough note. Jessica woke up about 4 a.m. with some female issues. That's not fun. And I woke up. I woke up at, I don't know, 7 o'clock, and after breakfast, I had my own issues with some food that didn't agree with me. So it was kind of a rough start. But today was court day, which was a huge deal. There had been a lot of families that weren't passing court, and so obviously there was a level of concern going into this day that obviously we want to pass court the first time. We want to get through with embassy stuff and bring our son home. So we went to court, and it was really unlike anything that I think I could have imagined ahead of time. So I just want to kind of share with you what this looked like. So we go to this probably 5-story building, and a very plain looking building, and our driver takes us in, and first of all, it was like on the 4th or 5th floor. It was pretty high up where they had this particular courtroom where we met. And so Jessica not feeling good, and me having just gotten sick and not feeling good, our driver just basically starts running up 4 flights of stairs, and we're just like, we gotta really take our time. So anyway, so we get up to the top, and it's just it's pretty much chaos. The driver leads us into a room that probably an 18 by 18, maybe a 20 by 20 room would be my guess. And in that room there was almost like a wooden stage that was just kind of a step up, and that was it. And they had chairs around the entire perimeter of the room, where by the time we had got there, which was probably 15 to 20 minutes before 9, which was when we were supposed to be there, there was already people in there. It was already full. And I would say it's probably split 50-50, maybe 60-40. There were slightly more Ethiopians than there were Americans, or at least people coming in to adopt. So we get in, and it was very warm, very warm. Like I said, Jessica and I are already feeling a little wiggy, and so we're like, okay, I think we're gonna chill in the hallway. And so we just kind of stayed in the hallway for a little while. Somebody opened a window in the hallway, which was nice, so we had a little airflow in there. And probably we were there for maybe 15-20 minutes, up until about 9 o'clock, and it was like people were starting to move in. We felt like, okay, we don't know how this process works. Are they going to call this by alphabetical order? Is this in order of like who comes here first? How does this work? We don't know, but like the room was starting to fill up, and we wanted to make sure that we had a spot somewhere in the room so that if it was in any sort of order, we kind of claimed it. So we go in there, and we were just kind of hanging out with another family that is here that's also adopting. And so probably 9:15, 9:20, almost an hour after we had arrived there, somebody finally comes in. No, it was probably even later than that. It might have even been 9:30. Somebody comes in, and blah, 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 and we're like, okay, great, we're starting. Something's going on here. And all of a sudden, we see probably half of the American families walk out of the room. And we're just like, okay, what's going on? Anybody here know what's going on? And then basically what they had said is that the people there were families that had come in the day before, yesterday, and they didn't they weren't able to have the court proceeding because of the fact that MAWA, who is a major organization here and has to sign off basically on every adoption, they weren't open, or they didn't show up, or something happened yesterday. So all these families came in yesterday. MAWA didn't show up to kind of approve all these adoptions. So all these families had come back. So they were the first ones to get approved this morning. So basically, the guy comes in, he says, everybody who has an appointment today, you need to basically leave right now for the time being. So Jessica and I, we learn of this, we go out in the hall, and we ended up standing for probably 2 hours in the hallway of this building, until finally, we hear, okay, they're starting to take today's adoption cases. So we end up going back into this room. It's still very full because now we have, we're probably even more people in there. It's just, you're literally just standing room only in this 18 by 18, 20 by 20 room. Very, very tight space. And thankfully we were the second. They actually call the families in by the agency that they're with. And so our agency was the second one to be picked. So we went in with this other family that is also adopting from the same agency as us. We go into this room that was probably 15 by 20. It was a bit of a longer room. And there were two people in there. There was the judge, who was a woman, and had a desk with papers stacked all around. And then there was probably her assistant that was also in there, and they requested our visas, and so we gave them the visas, and then they the judge proceeded to asking Jessica and myself and also the other family that was there, just different questions, kind of like, are you aware of the fact that, are you, I would say, are you willing to take on this child, given the fact that you're white and all the issues that may come up with that. But it was essentially, are you prepared to be a parent? And she asked me, how old are you? You look very young. And I was like, I'm 24. And then, said that Jessica was 28. And she said, are you guys sure that you want to move forward with this? You're still very young. Yeah, we're definitely ready to move forward. And she also asked, was this your first choice, or, are you gonna have kids biologically or something like that? And Jessica and I were basically like, yeah, no, this was the first choice to adopt. And so then went through a couple other questions, and then she was like, all right, congratulations, you guys, you're parents now. And so that was a wonderful moment. So Jessica and I and the other lady that was there, we walk out of that little room, and Jessica basically just puts her hands up like that in this room that has all these families, and they're all waiting to go in to get approval, and everybody starts clapping, and it was just cool. So that was a wild deal, unlike anything I could have imagined. So then basically we went out to lunch after that. Actually, we went back to the transition home. We saw Elijah. We told him that he's now officially our son, and that was great. And we spent probably an hour with him. And then it was time for lunch. And then after lunch, basically just came back here and had some time to think. I was still feeling a little wiggy, so I just wanted to rest. And Jessica wasn't feeling great, so she wanted to rest too. So, I guess during this time, I've just been there's like so much to process, so much going on, so much stuff that you see in this country that you have never seen before. And, I just think about like all these kids in the orphanage, and like, just one thing is like the toy situation. It's just wild. They'll play with like different caps. Like there's like a PVC cap, two PVC caps that they just love to play with. That's kind of their thing. Even though they have like 2 soccer balls and a basketball, they play with the most random things, and they love the most random things that is really just trash to anybody else, but to them it's like treasure. They find this little wrapper on the ground. It's like, wow, a red wrapper, it's like, this is really cool. I'm gonna put this in my pocket. And one of the things we were playing with yesterday is a water bottle, because you can roll them, you can use it as a as a bat. You know, this kid was using this little thing as a bat. We had a little piece of plastic. I don't even know what it was, some sort of cap, and you know, just hitting it with a bottle or piece of plastic or whatever they have lying around, and it just makes you go, you know, it's amazing. We have all these toys at home for Elijah, and these kids have to share the very few toys that they have. They don't even have enough toys probably for all the kids there. So it's like, okay, you get to hold this belt. This kid had an army belt today that, you know, he'd tie onto his head, or, you know, he would swing it around, and we were using it as kind of a jump rope. I mean, it was like, that was his toy for the day. Like, that was all this kid had. And the other kid, we had this little ball that we would throw around, and it definitely blows your mind to think, okay, you know, it's amazing how much stuff we have, and it's amazing how much stuff we really need at the end of the day, when all we know, you know, when we take the mindset of these kids, and this is all they know. This is all they know. This is a cool toy right here. You can drink out of it, you can throw it around, you know, and to us it's just trash. So I don't know. That was just something I was thinking about this afternoon, that it's just wild. It's just really wild. Everywhere you go, you know, you see just crippled people on the side of the road. You know, you don't see that in America. And there's so much poverty, so many things here that really make you grateful, but at the same time, it just makes you think, you know, how can we change the situation? What would it take to change the situation? There's 5 million people in the city that we're in right now, Addis Ababa, and this is the capital of Ethiopia. There's 80 million people total in the country of Ethiopia, and of the 80 million people total, 5 million, so the same amount of people that is in Addis Ababa, 5 million of the 80 million people in this country are orphans. 5 million out of 80. So as we're walking down, we don't walk anywhere, we have a driver, but as we drive down the road, there's just swarms of people everywhere you go. And to think, you know, there's 5 million orphans in this country, which is the same amount as are in the city. And can you imagine if just everywhere you went and you just saw swarms of people and every single one of those were an orphan? I mean, it would just, you know, when you just kind of start thinking about that stuff, it's just like, wow, this is just crazy. You get lost in the overwhelming number of it. And but then you kind of have to remember, okay, right now we're starting with one. And you know, the thing that keeps coming to my mind is the starfish, the story of the starfish. I don't really know what it is, but anyway, the kid walks down the beach, and you know, there's starfish all over the shore, and you know, he kind of just starts picking one up one by one, throwing them back into the ocean. And some guy comes by and is like, dude, you know, there's thousands of starfish all over the place. You can't save them all. And the other guy goes, yeah, you're right. You know, I probably can't, but you know what? I'm gonna make a difference for this one, won't I? And throws it in the water, and I don't even know what to say. It's just overwhelming. It really is. 5 million orphans in this country alone, 147 million worldwide. So it just, I hope that more people take the same step that we're taking, and we'll reach out and take one of these kids home. They're amazing kids, every single one of them, and they all are desperate for love. It's the common bond. No matter where you go in the world, everybody needs love. Everybody needs attention, and every one of these amazing kids needs a home. So I think that's going to be all for today. It's probably a long video, so we'll send another video tomorrow on our last day. Ciao.